Hey everybody, welcome back to Texas 911 Dispatcher. My name is Curtis, and today we're going to be touching on a very important topic of officer safety. So stick around. Hey y'all, welcome back to Texas 911 Dispatcher. My name is Curtis, and on this channel we talk about all things 911 dispatch related. And I do stories, I do training, I do tips and tricks, and maybe even eventually we're going to do some reviews and some interviews and stuff like that. So if this is something that you might want to see, make sure you click on that subscribe button down in the bottom right hand corner, as well as the bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. I have several series that I'm working on, license plate copying, driver's license copying. I'm going to have mock traffic stop, mock calls coming in. So I'm going to have a bunch of training on this channel, and I would greatly appreciate if you would subscribe to it. And if you are a 911 training officer or you have some kind of training program at your agency and would like to use any of my videos, please feel free to do so. I love training; is what I love to do. I've trained several people, and many of them have gone on to become great dispatchers. Several of them, or a couple of them, anyways, have even become dispatch supervisors. So, let's talk about something that is very dear to my heart and very important as a 911 dispatcher, and that is officer safety. Officer safety is the number one cardinal rule of any dispatcher, or at least it should be. You know, when you come to work and you put on that headset or you pick up that phone, it's your responsibility to get as much information as you can from the caller. That is anything pertaining to the call, anything pertaining to the suspect or the vehicle, anything that is going on, any traffic stops that they do. It is your responsibility to make sure that that officer goes home to his or her family every night. And you have to do everything in your power to make sure that happens. Now, granted, we're not out there and we can't be totally responsible for it, but we sure can do our very best to make sure they have all the information possible so that they know what they're getting into beforehand as much as possible. So when you're taking calls, you want to make sure that you get any and all information. If you have a what is called a hot call or a in progress call, you want to get as much information as fast as you can and get it out to that officer. You know, some agencies will have a long response time. I know the first agency that I worked for, oftentimes our response time was anywhere between 15 minutes and 45 minutes because we lived in a big county, something like 220 square miles or something like that, I think is what it was. And it was literally, it was, I want to say 20 miles north to south and about 35 miles east to west. So, I mean, it was a really big county. And it would literally take 30 to 45 minutes, even running code across the county. So in that time, if you have a in progress call, you have most of the time you have ample time to get information. Things like what's going on, what happened, is the suspect still there? What are they wearing? What kind of weapons do they have? Did they leave? What kind of vehicle did they leave in? What direction did they leave in? Do you have any idea where they might be going? Who was it? And what's their date of birth? So you can go ahead and run that person. Um, did they have any weapons when they had it? Did they have a gun or a knife or a hammer or a crowbar? Did they have um, a shotgun? You know, what kind of stuff did they have? And when they left, did they leave on foot? And if so, what were they wearing? Well, anything really. If they leave, you always want to make sure you get what they're wearing. And when you get a description of the person, even if you have their name doesn't do a bit of good when you're driving down the road or going to the call and you see somebody driving by. You're not going to say, "Hey," you're not going to stop. Roll down and say, "Hey, are you Joe Smith?" No, you're not going to do that. Or at least the officer's not going to do that. So you want to make sure that you get descriptors of what they are. You know, they're 6 foot tall. They're approximately 250 pounds. And then start top to bottom. Don't start with brown shoes and then um, glasses, and then blue jeans, and then gray hair, and then um, a gray t-shirt, and then blue eyes and a beard. You don't want to bounce around like that. Just go from the top, work your way down. And just like in cleaning, really. But, start at the top. Brown hair, blue eyes, 6 foot tall, approximately 250 pounds, wearing a ball cap, gray shirt, blue jeans, and boots. That's what, you want to go top to bottom. Um, if they left in a vehicle, what kind of vehicle was it? Is it a car? Is it a truck? Is it a motorcycle? Is it a bike? What color is that car? Is it brown or blue or purple or silver or green or what? Is it a two-door or four-door? Or is it a hatchback? Is it a pickup? If it's a pickup, is it two-door or four-door? Does it have any kind of markings on it? Do you know what the license plate is? Does it have any stickers? Anything like that. Anything that an officer can use to identify a person from sight so they can approach, they have probable cause to approach them to identify them. And then on top of that, if it is a in progress call, like a domestic violence call, does the person need medical? Were they hit? Are they bleeding? Where does it hurt? Do they want EMS? A lot of times people will say, no, I don't really want EMS. But then it's like, okay, but you need to ask them that. If you can ask them that while you're on the call, on the phone and the officers are still responding, then you could say, okay, well, this person is requesting EMS, and you can go ahead and tone them out. And then if they are volunteer first responders, like 90 some odd percent of fire departments are, if they are, then they have time to get to the station, get their equipment, get their, dressed up and stuff like that, and go. The average response time of volunteers probably, 15, 10, 15 minutes or so. And half of that's going to the station. And then have them stage. Have them stage down the road or away from the scene until an officer can get there to make sure that the scene is secure. You don't want to send a paramedic into a domestic call because they're not the ones that have guns. They're not the ones that are wearing the bulletproof vests. And yes, that kind of sounds callous, but an officer's job is to protect and serve. A paramedic's job is to heal the injured. Sometimes they will go in with the officers. Sometimes they'll wait until they make sure the scene is secure. But the officers are the ones that have the body armor. They're the one that has the gun that can shoot back if they get shot at. They're the ones that are going to be in there first to make sure that the scene is safe for those paramedics and those EMS and those firefighters. That their only protection is, a Halligan tool or a pair of scissors. So you always want to make sure you do that. But the point is, get as much information as you can as the officers are responding and tell them that. Tell them that information. If you're by yourself, it's going to be hectic for a while. You're going to be getting information from the caller and you're going to be giving it out over the air. So you're going to hear it, you're going to write it down, you're going to speak it. Hear it, write it down, speak it. Hear it, write it down, speak it. That's the way the call's going to go. If you have more than one person, you're going to be hearing the information and putting it into call, and then the other person will be reading that call and giving it out over the air, or something along those lines. But the point is, get as much information as you can. Like I said, officer safety should be your number one rule. And that responsibility is a very heavy responsibility. Doing everything in your power to make sure that your officers go home safely to their family every night. And if that's not your number one rule, you have no business being a 911 dispatcher. So that's my thoughts. We're going to be talking about a couple other things dealing with officer safety in the next few videos or so. So make sure that you click on the subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you don't miss those videos or any of the other videos that I put out. Again, if you are a 911 training officer and you would like to use these videos in your program, please feel free to do so. Any of the videos I put out, you are more than welcome to use them in your training program. All that I ask is that you put some kind of credit that is my video. And that is it, y'all. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, share it with your friends, share my channel, and until next time, y'all, stay safe out there and keep your officers safe.